Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you want with Matt and Julia?
Good evening, everybody, or morning, or afternoon, or whenever you're listening to this, and welcome to Is This What You Want with Matt and Julia, the podcast where we try to figure out what you want, and mostly we just talk about what we want, and hopefully you like it. I'm Julia Ladkowitz. Across from me is my husband, my beautiful statue of a
I thought you were going to say stallion.
Stallion statue.
Statues don't move, though. You're saying I just sit around and stare, and then sometimes you polish my marble ass.
Yeah, he polishes his marble ass.
You polish my marble ass because I can't move.
Right.
If I was a stallion, at least I'm out there moving and shaking.
Well, maybe you come to life at night, and that's when you polish your ass.
Like today's special, the
yeah,
Canadian
exactly.
treat. Any Canadians know
that was reference. Canadian?
I think it was only Canadian.
When the mannequins coming to life in a department store?
Yeah, and then they hang out with toys and puppets and stuff.
That's like a really good idea for a show. That's the kind of show that I'd write.
Yeah, but the weirdest part was that the security guard was a puppet. And then that confused me as a kid because I'm like, hold on a second. Is he real or is he not real? And why are the mannequins look like humans, but the security guard is a puppet?
Oh, that is confusing.
And he was like rubbery looking. I wanted to squeeze his face.
I remember, I have like vague memories of that. And also, what was that Thomas the Whatever Train?
Thomas the Tank Engine. Thomas the Whatever Train. Well, if it isn't Thomas the Whatever Train. The big train with a fucking face on the front.
I just remember that train's stupid face and me being like, I don't know how I feel about this.
I didn't like it because it was all like narration, basically. It's like, Thomas woke up from a long sleep and he was hungry. And it's like, what is it? It's a fucking train. What's he going to eat?
A bunch of hot coal, yeah.
Yeah. And he's going to fucking transfer a bunch of pigs to the slaughterhouse. That's an episode of Thomas the Tank Engine they never showed you. There's a bunch of squealing pigs and a bunch of train cars, and he's like, Thomas felt angry that he had to kill the pigs.
Or just like weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, he's like a tank over in Iraq, and he's just transferring crude oil. Thomas didn't like that he was working for Saddam Hussein.
Why do you sound like one of the Beatles? Thomas didn't like it.
Thomas didn't like it. Paul McCartney was on the train.
What was that other show with oh my god, that like flexible lady who did like the clock with her legs, which is always a bit suggestive if you ask me.
Polka Dot Door?
No, she was like
flexible lady.
Yeah, and she would be like a human clock.
Malcolm in the middle.
No, and her leg would go all the way around.
I did not have cable growing up, and my rabbit ears did not.
So you don't even know what I'm talking about? She wore like stripes and she's like, "Hi kids."
Is it Big Comfy Couch?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a complete guess. I just know that
on the big comfy couch.
Did the whole show take place on a big couch?
I seem to recall kind of.
And she pulls shit out of the cushions and she's like, "Wow, check this out. It's a fucking old Band-Aid."
I don't actually know. Yeah, she just found some old change and crumbs.
Yeah, she's like, this episode's all about the penny and crumbs I found. The last episode was too.
And then she's like, "What time is it? Time to show the children my pussy."
Why were there so many pennies in like change in couches?
Because back in the day, you see, people would use something called change, and then they put them in their pockets, and then they sit on their couch with their outdoor pants.
That's
disgusting. Then it would fall in. Yeah,
I don't do that. I've like sometimes when I'm waiting for you to get ready, I'll sit in my jeans on the couch, and I'm like, this is a sacred zone. I hate that I'm sitting with outdoor pants. Outdoor pants are disgusting, especially when you live in a city with like a subway.
Yeah.
And you have to take transportation. You're like, my ass has been on a bus, which has been covered in puke and piss and hot shit. Yeah. And now I'm sitting in my sacred couch.
I will never, I don't know if I've ever sat on our couch with jeans.
Yeah. Bed. People do that all the time. They're like just lounge in bed in their outdoor clothes.
It makes me sick.
Like, no wonder there's a pandemic. Like, all the shit that's floating around, especially Americans with their goddamn outdoor shoes indoors, clomping around shit and piss. Sacred. Indoors sacred. Sacred indoors.
Anyway.
We should start a different podcast called Sacred Indoors. And we just talk about what we like about the indoors.
Okay. What do you like about the indoors?
I like the roof. That's number one.
What? The roof isn't indoors. The roof is outdoors.
No, that's the roof. The ceiling.
You like the ceiling.
I like that there's a ceiling.
You like that there's a ceiling.
I like there's cover and it blocks the sun and the elements. And
this is a bad segment.
later episode, I'll get to the walls and the windows. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze right now.
Oh my gosh. God bless.
God, my nose has been going crazy. There's been at least 4 or 5 lawns on this block that people were hacking away at.
Everybody was leaf blowing this morning.
Yeah.
That happened to me. I walked Shange, I came in, and then I took a sip of my water, but it went down like the wrong hole. And then I started choking to the point I had to run to the sink and spit it out. And then I just started rapid fire sneezing. And the dog was just like,
you own me?
What I do with this information.
You're going to die.
So, speaking about dying, happy Chappy Hour, everybody.
Happy Chappy Hour, the only happy hour devoted dedicated? I usually say dedicated.
Dedicated.
To the worst robot movie of all time that Julia has not seen. Chappie. I've only seen once, as we all know. Julia's still... Wait, did you check? Were we on a flight recently? No.
Yeah, Reno, but we established that I did not check.
Have not checked.
Yeah, still haven't seen it and
haven't
don't
seen it.
care to.
But we pay tribute to how bad that movie is with a beverage of sorts. And we are drinking some non-alky beverages. We are drinking a Spindrift Bubbly, a lemon one.
A lemon Spindrift.
And a splash of Diet Coke.
Yeah, kind of like a little half, like an Arnold Palmer situation, but with Spindrift and Diet Coke. Call me crazy. I just find a regular Diet Coke a bit too sweet.
What was Arnold Palmer doing with drinks? He was just fucking mixing
It was
drinks?
lemonade and iced tea. It's a good idea.
How many things did he do first, though? He's like, this one's Sprite and molasses.
Yeah, or this one's
like,
like
get out of here, Arnold.
milk and tomato juice.
Oh my God. Just like cold pasta sauce. Disgusting, Arnold Palmer. But I like, was it lemonade and iced tea? It's fine. It's so much sugar. I feel like I'm sucking a fucking elf's dick.
Wow. Do you think elves' dicks are made of candy canes?
I think they like sugar. If the movie Elf has taught us anything, when he chugs that syrup.
Yeah, they like sugar, but
Yeah.
listen. I like a lot of things.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean my fucking puss is made out of the things I like.
No, but you would taste different if you had a lot of something.
I don't think your actual penis would taste like sugar if you only ate sugar.
Let's try that. Let's make that an experiment for next week.
You're going to get diabetes.
Yeah, I will eat so much sugar, and then you have to see if my dick is sweet.
You can taste your own dick.
I taste my old dick. It's not why I
I'm
got
not
married.
tasting your fucking sugar dick.
Lick my sweet dick.
I mean, if that was the case and you could just like load up on candy the night before, then I'd suck you off more.
Wow. Okay, that's the key. You heard it here, listener. All I have to do is somehow...
I suppose I could just dip it in syrup or something.
Yeah. Experiment down there. Caramel, maybe not hot caramel. That would be
I'll
bad.
put some hot butterscotch on it.
I mean, it would hurt, but I'd be like, it smells good in here. And then I'd be like, it's in the hole, and I can't pee now.
Yeah, just clog up your pee hole.
Clog up my pee hole. Then I got to go to the hospital, and I got to explain. I'm going to become one of those, like, hospital A&E stories.
Yeah.
Where, like, he came in, and he had an unusual injury, and the nurses were shocked.
He had a case of caramel dick.
Yeah, he had a full caramel in his shaft. He shot it out, and it came out in a fucking full tube.
I'm sorry, sir. It's bad news. You have a case of caramel dick.
Yeah.
No!
Caramelized dick.
Caramel or caramel?
I don't know. What did I say earlier? I said pasta, and then there's pasta. I said pasta.
Pasta.
I can't tell which one's
Pasta,
one's American,
pasta.
one's not. You know what? I was doing a shoot for something. No big deal. I was on set. I frequently work in television. And I said invoice, but they're like, all the people on crew, they're like, well, they had to stop. They're like, you sounded too Canadian when you said invoice.
What are you supposed to say?
I don't know. They were like, you said invice. And I'm like, invoice. And they're like, you did it again. I'm like,
Invoice.
Invoice. Americans love it. They're terrified of O's down here.
Invoice. It's your voice. A voice.
Vice. Vows.
Invoice.
Americans want to put a W after every fucking O, and I refuse. About. Out.
It's crazy. I don't know why I started thinking about this now, but that Santana whatever song, 'cause you're so smooth.
'Cause you're so smooth, and it's just like the ocean under the moon.
But yesterday you just kept being like, oh, you're so smooth.
Oh, you're so smooth. Oh, let me touch you smooth. You're so smooth.
I don't know why I was thinking about that, but that song came on the other day, and then Matt started doing that, and it's the funniest thing you've
Rob
ever done to me.
Thomas and Santana were sitting in a room together, and he was touching Santana's arm. He's like, "You're so smooth. Oh, you're smooth." And then Santana's like, "Hold on." He started noodling, and he's like, "Gosh, you're so smooth."
I hope you like this. I hope it's what you want because I'm having a real nice time with that.
There you go. That's we should change the Wikipedia of smooth to. Did you know this song is about Santana's smooth arm? That
Rob Thomas just
really
couldn't get
liked.
enough of.
Yeah. Oh, you're so smooth.
Man, so smooth.
So smooth. How does he sing like that? That was his singing style choice.
I don't know. I feel like I say this every podcast, but I play that in band on the clarinet.
That would sound like a nightmare. Oh, that part. I get that.
Yeah. We didn't have any fucking guitars in the band or anything,
There
so
was no guitars. It was all clarinets. It was all horns. Chance, get back here.
no, it wasn't just. Yeah, there's 30 clarinets. No, there was like saxophones and flutes and percussion.
Okay.
And baritones.
Did
There
your
were
conductor dress
trumpets, French horns.
Did your conductor dress up like Santana?
Miss Waiawata.
Yeah.
Miss Waiawata did not dress up like Santana.
Waiawata.
Miss Waiawata.
Ms. Waiawata.
Ms. Waiawata.
But Waiawata go to class. Did you ever say that?
Ms. Waiawata was a real hard bitch. She was strict. She did not suffer fools. She would scream at you. She'd always yell at you if your bra straps were showing. Meanwhile, her fucking tits were always just hanging out.
Big jugs on Waiawata?
Waiawata had some pretty floppy jugs.
Well, maybe they were just regular size, but you were just smaller because you were a kid, and you were just like, look at them big jugs, and then you became
But
an adult.
I was just more angry because I'm like, why do we have a dress code? Because
Waiawata's tits are out.
and then she's allowed to wear this low cut shirt and conduct a bunch of 12-year-olds.
My string teacher was Miss Gardy. She became principal of the school, I found out recently.
She's still there?
That's a big leap to go from string teacher to principal. Good for her. But she, you'd always ask to go to the bathroom, and she'd be like, "I'm sorry, is there a bath in there? You want to go to the washroom?" And she'd embarrass you in front of the whole class every time. She's like, "You're washing."
Oh,
me."
I thought you were going to say, like, when you're like, can I? She's like, I don't know. Can you? May I?
Yes, she
I
would
would
do
get that a lot
May
from
I?
certain teachers.
May I go to? I say, may I go to the bathroom? Or I say, can I go to the bathroom? I don't know. Can you go to the washroom? Or may you go to the washroom? I'm like, get out of here.
First of all, I'm not washing my whole body in there. If we're can I go to the piss tank? Let's call it that.
I should have washed my whole body. It's like you don't know if I'm going to bathe in there or not.
You should have been like, she like came back to class and she's like, where were you? You're like, I was literally bathing in the toilet.
Yeah, then Child Protective Services comes and takes me away from my parents because they're like, the kid's bathing in the sink at school. He's rolling around in the sink. And it was we had one of those big sinks that you press the pedal down.
Oh, yeah, like a trough.
It was like a trough. I don't know what.
Yeah, pig trough.
That's a huge waste of water. Unless you and 6 friends want to wash your hands at the exact same
Yeah, unless
times.
the whole fucking school is washing their hands.
Yeah.
Speaking of Child Protective Services, I just saw someone tweet about this. I mean, our segment, Where Are We At with TikTok, has gone away. Because you know what? Fuck TikTok. I don't really care about that app
I think it's
anymore.
going to be shut down soon.
Sure.
There's more bills coming in. Also, I am so excited. I have a large following on there, but I don't care. I want it to go away because then it's one less thing to worry about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I have no following on there, and I'm not trying to grow it anymore because I'm like, who cares? This is not, it's not my place, and I'm okay with that.
I think they just banned it from government phones.
Right.
You can't have it on there, which is like, it's going to spread from there, I think.
Which, I mean, yeah, if it's your like work government phone, you don't need TikTok
Yeah,
on
if the
it.
president's watching fucking like ASMR videos on
Or like
TikTok,
let him, but on his personal phone.
Yeah, I like this.
I like
on,
this
man.
mukbang video.
Come on, man. I like this mukbang.
Mukbang. But listen, so I saw someone tweet about this that so this husband, the wife was away, and the husband wrapped up their kid in saran wrap to like as like a punishment for, you know, being unruly or whatever.
Huh.
Which is like a fucked up thing to do. And kids like The kid doesn't understand, and now I'm just wrapped up in. And anyway, then
How old's the kid? If he's like 10, that's hilarious.
No. And then the wife came home and saw it, and then they posted did a video, and they posted the video on TikTok. And anyway, I think like Child Protective Services came and took the kid away.
Yeah. That's happened a lot on social media. There was a YouTube channel of some mom pranking her kids like rapidly for YouTube. And the comments are like, this is abuse. Like she'd be like destroying their Christmas presents in front of them and like, you know, smashing their PlayStations, be like, it's a prank. It was like bad.
It's just
Parents are sick.
the age when you think about how susceptible you are when you're younger and how much that contributes to the like the adult you grow up to, like what kind of trauma you experience as a young child. It is so fucked up. And for kids who are kind of like forced to be in the online world, can you imagine if your mom,
I was just thinking
when you were like 3 years old or a baby until, you know, a teen, you're just always online, always on the internet.
Like you hit a certain age and you're just like, and then you go back in the videos, you're like, oh my God. And then you're finally like processing all the videos. Like it would fuck me up.
Also,
I do wish my mom got me into acting at a young age.
You do and you don't, because I don't know. Maybe if you'd lived in LA, it would be different, but you'd also be so much more fucked up.
Yeah, I wasn't that type of kid. I wasn't outgoing and anything. I didn't really blossom until my 20s, I'd say.
I mean, I went to like drama school, but I was never I thought I was serious about it, but I truly wasn't. And my parents really didn't want me to because they were so scared that, you know, I'd get taken advantage of that I was going to become the next Michael Jackson. No,
she
but
better not become the next Michael Jackson in there.
That people would say, you know, you're not this, you're not that, you're not whatever. And you know what? They were right. This is a terrible business, and I'm sad every day.
There we go.
I'm just kidding. I love it.
It's fun. So smooth.
It's so smooth.
Speaking of smooth, so we talked about our little drinks. We can hash out if we're going to do a warm and fuzzy and that was stupid after we talk about the major event of this week.
Listen, this is what I'm going to say.
What?
I think this is just going to be one major warm and fuzzy between the two of us. Mm-hmm. And unless I think of something really good, I don't even know if we do. Well, that was stupid.
Because, yeah, it's been... I know, because I have some stupid things I would like to get off my chest.
All right. So
should we lead with that was stupid?
Oh, my God.
And then go to the main event?
Okay.
So now we're going to talk about something stupid that happened this week because the big thing that was nice is so big. So we're going to start with, that was stupid.
Well, that was stupid.
Maybe I could go first?
Yeah, sure.
So where am I going to start? How do I say this? So earlier this week, I got a major rejection from a late night show. It was pretty harsh. And it was like after, like we went out late the night before for a friend's birthday, woke up groggy, and it was like the first thing I saw in the morning. And it was like basically like trying to submit to be like do stand up on a late night show. And them just being like, you know what, maybe this show's not for you. Yeah. After like years of back and forth. And as much as I'm like, whatever, I'm just like, it's stupid. It's stupid that really bothered me after all this time doing this career, and I'm still going to let something like that get to me. Now I do not care because the rest of the week was actually so much better.
Yeah.
It's almost like a little bomb like that went off, and then the rest of the week was like, all right, we got to make up for this shitty mood that he's in.
Exactly. And which I say all the time, and nothing is permanent. Everything's...
It isn't.
Temporary. Yeah. Good things can be bad. Bad things can be good. Everything's fleeting. So enjoy it or get over it.
Well, that's the thing. There is a lot of rejection in this industry. And obviously I've felt a lot of it. Hundreds of hours, thousands even of rejection. And I read it and I was like, okay, bury it. Don't worry about it. And then I'm just like, you know what? Recognize that you're feeling annoyed and that's stupid.
Yeah, and you're definitely allowed. That's healthy to recognize how you're feeling. The worst thing is to be like, everything's fine. Yeah, on to the next.
All right. Or ignore it and then keep going. Being like, no, this is the show for me. And then the cops get called and they take you to the nut house.
Yeah.
That could be it. First of all, they don't call it the nut house anymore. They really should. That'd be fun.
Not for the nuts.
Well, they're not nuts, but it's like, oh, I'm going to the nut house, just... Have a good time with it. Also, was there a time where they had big nets and they were catching crazy people? That's always
Wait.
like the cartoon. It's just like, that insane
Oh, I
asylum's
thought you
here.
were saying, I'm like, is it called the Net House?
Yeah, the net house.
Because then you're like, was there a time they had big? Then I thought you were going to say big nuts.
My dad always used to say that. He always used to be like, you calm down in there, or I'll grab a big net and scoop you up and take you to the nut house.
Parents love threatening to take you to the Nut House.
Yeah. And, that's a pretty scary place. Because, they allow kids in there, I think. They're just like, take this kid for a bit in the nut house.
I would not want to go to the Nut House.
Yeah, I feel like the first thing they do is give you applesauce. And they're like, you like this?
They give you applesauce, and then they're like, take all these pills. And you're like, no. And then they like give you some sort of weird syringe full of something.
Yeah, when you start freaking out. I've seen a lot. That's like every nut house movie. It's just like, I'm not supposed to be here. And then a big orderly comes by and headlocks them and then injects whatever that sleeping serum is.
And then they pass out and they wake up in a padded cell. And they're like, you got to eat your pills or you're not going to get to
Your
watch
sauce.
Shawshank Redemption or whatever.
Or it's always like a really old like episode of Wheel of Fortune or something. Anyway, I saw One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest really early in life. Too early, maybe.
Never seen it.
It's good. It's very good. Jacqueline
Nicholson.
and at his finest.
I saw Girl Interrupted when I was a kid, and I was like, yo.
Yeah, that's a nut house movie. So was that my only stupid thing? I'd say that's the only
That's
stupid
stupid
thing.
enough.
It was stupid enough. It was stupid, but I recognized that it was stupid. I've moved on, and honestly, with everything that happened this week, I don't even think about it.
There you go. It's over.
Like, it's over.
It is over. I had a very stupid moment. Usually I like to keep my that was stupids a little bit more light, like actual stupid stuff, but I had like a full fucking breakdown. More wedding planning, even though this is a small vow renewal party, it's still like planning a legit wedding. There's a lot of moving parts, and it just felt like every single day it was another little bad thing. And then Saturday morning I woke up and the first thing I saw was a text from one of my best friends saying her husband couldn't come. And I was like, huh. And then I had like...
You were also angry for me because he was supposed to join me in my quote unquote bachelor
and also
party.
your birthday.
And
So I'm like,
birthday.
well, that's how much I fucking care about you.
That's nice.
And I was just like one thing and I'm like, I'm like, but then I was like, okay, maybe if he can't come now, maybe this other person can come. And then who was supposed to come and they can share a room. And then I asked them and then they got mad at me because someone else wasn't invited. And then like it spiraled and everything came bubbling up that I've just kind of been pushing down for the past few weeks. And I haven't had a breakdown like this in a long time.
Wow.
And then you had to go, I think you went to like an audition or something. And I was like in the fetal position in the studio, just like bawling. Shanj was nowhere to be seen.
Oh boy. Yeah, sometimes she splits when things get emotional.
Sometimes when they get like too hard, she's like, I don't know what to do about this. Anyway, but then, I chatted with some friends and I was just like, there was a good takeaway that I'm like, you can't please everybody and shit happens and it's better that this happens before the wedding so there's no surprises on the day. And there might be. And you just got to roll with it and look at the positive. But I think it's good that it happened when it happened because it needed to happen.
Yeah, now it won't happen at the wedding.
Well,
no, we'll see.
We'll see.
Rolling around Vegas Boulevard.
It was just, what's so stupid about it is how much energy it takes to cry.
Also, how wet your face gets. I've never seen you have the biggest tears.
I have the biggest
also,
tears.
Your ears start leaking. Everything's leaking.
All of my holes are leaking.
Yeah,
my anus, my ears, my eyes, my nose.
It's like you're getting wrung out. You're like a full sponge that just gets wrung out.
Just exploding salty tears.
Yeah.
And then I was just so fucked up and tired. And then we did a show that night. And I honestly, and I told you this a million times, I honestly felt like I had taken like several edibles. Because I didn't drink that much that night. And then I was like, fucked. So it was pretty fucking stupid.
It's pretty dumb, I'd say.
But you know what's not dumb? Oh my God. Okay. All right. This is like the biggest warm and fuzzy ever. And okay. So.
I think we have to lead with what happened. We like lead big and then tell a story about how we got there.
Yeah.
So was that Tuesday? What day is it?
I mean, we've already told the listeners before that we were doing this.
Yeah, we were going to live taping of Frasier.
So we went to a live taping of Frasier on
On Tuesday.
Tuesday.
But unknown to us, so our friend Jess, who is part of the cast, who we keep saying, oh, she's a good friend of ours. It's like, well, we met her, was it last month?
We met her last month, but I just like talked to her the whole night, and immediately I just felt like we clicked. I'm like,
She's the best.
I like this person.
Yeah. Just it's
And
there's
she's
certain
like, I like
people
you.
really jive with, and then I mean, add to the fact that she's fantastic. She is part of the greatest show that we've ever loved, Frasier, and she's like, she'll get us tickets for the taping. So yeah, we did go on Tuesday, and she's like, you're VIP
Yeah.
tickets
Because
and-
originally before we even met her, Matt had put his name down on a list to get us tickets. So we had the regular Joe Schmo tickets, but then we got VIP tickets. And first of all, it was just like a nice day. We show up, our friends Ennis and Christian Brunn were there. It was just like a
two
nice
notable
time.
actors themselves as well.
Exactly.
Quite the crew we're hanging out with. Also being on a lot too. It was right on the Paramount lot. You pull into the gate. They know who you are. You show your ID. You're like, I am here for this. I'm here for Frasier. And also, let me tell you something. This is not an invite to go storm lots, but they are very trusting of guests when you get on a lot.
Here's the thing. Because you will, if you do something weird, you will get caught, and
You're
you
trapped.
will be
You're in giant walls.
and you will be like never allowed back or worse. So, and it's a lot of fucking actors going on that lot, so
And there's
nobody
a lot-
wants to pick
yeah,
up.
There's a lot of cameras, but every lot I've been to, they just kind of let you loose. And there's no escort or anything, and that always blows my mind. I'm like, you could go into any studio. We walked right by the Paramount Prop House, which was huge, and I was like looking in. I'm like, yeah, we just go in there right now.
We should
and
have.
take a fucking,
But yeah, we could have like hidden in New York.
yeah.
Like, cause like the whole like New York set was there. I could have
Yeah.
gone in one of those buildings and just never come out.
Or go in the prop department and dress up like somebody else. Just Sherlock Holmes walking around with an alien. So we get there and we get to the studio and we sign in, and yeah, we get these bands because they're like, oh, you're VIP. We had regular tickets before, but
I just
they're-
said that.
Yeah, they're like, Jess got us VIPs. So we're like, oh my God, I don't even know what that means. And so we're standing there, and then lo and behold, the man himself, Frasier, Kelsey Grammer,
Walks by.
comes straight because we keep being like, oh my God, we have to meet him. And Jess is like, it'll happen. I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
And then I thought this was it because he like beelined for us.
Yeah, he came out of his trailer, and then
You're
he,
also wearing a Frasier hat.
I'm wearing a Frasier hat, and I'm
Yeah.
wearing like this old like blazer, like a tweed blazer.
Yeah.
It was very Frasier.
I'm wearing an Niles Crane shirt, and
And he walks over to us, beelines over to us, and I'm like, oh. And then he goes, hello, and I go, hi, Frasier. I mean, Kelsey. And we both started blushing. You started shaking.
I was like shaking. My eyes were getting wet. I'm like, I'm not gonna cry, but I can't blink, and I just never. I told you this after, but I'm like, the thousands of hours we watched this man, and then now I'm staring directly inches away from his face, and he shook our hands, and he has the biggest
Biggest
meatiest
palms.
hands.
Oh my God, big palms,
Like-
big nice warm hand, dry hands though, not clammy.
Yeah.
Mine were clammy though, I think.
Looks great. He's svelte. He's not too short. What is he? 6'1"?
6'1", not too
Yeah.
tall.
Not too tall. It was
just
a good
the size
height.
of Montreal.
Yeah, it was good. But we're standing there and we're like, what the fuck is happening? And he's like, well, I better get in there and TV show. And we're like,
Bye.
and then we're like, oh shit, we didn't get a fucking photo.
I was like, because part of me, I was like, should we ask for a photo? And then I thought, no, I don't want to ruin this moment.
I never want to do it. Any celebrity I've ever met, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, take a photo.
It just didn't feel like the
can't.
right moment. And
It
I'm
didn't.
glad. And here's the thing. It didn't happen then. But then, so we go inside to the studio and we get great little seats, and they show us like a playback of the pilot episode, which is so fucking good.
It was perfect. It was insane. It was exactly what I would want the reboot to be. And they're paying me $0 to say this.
And also, I wanted it. I was so nervous because this is such a beloved show, and we've seen lots of reboots of shows that are like, yeah, it's almost there, but this I feel like really hit the mark.
When's the last time a TV show, he was in Cheers, and then they rebooted it to Seattle, and then they rebooted it to another? Has something been that rebooted?
Like a three-boot?
Yeah, with the same person.
I
in
don't
it?
know,
Like, there's been a million
actually.
Star Treks and stuff like that, but it's like, it's wild. It was just wild to see, and have them actually make it make sense and be good and be legit funny.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And then they had this like audience warm up man who, because it's a live taping, so they're resetting. They have to keep the audience happy. And he kept being like, I'm going to be giving out prizes, blah 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 blah. And a lot of times they're like T-shirts or whatever. He's like, whoever's the most enthusiastic. I also should note that I took a piece of an edible before I went.
Julia was a little bit zinked and dinked.
Because I'm like, they play music and I'm dancing around like a crazy person. I'm like, yeah, I feel
Gyrating.
good.
All hips.
All hips. And I'm like, oh yeah, I took this edible. But he had this, he's like, every time we do a live taping, he's like, I give out a prop that was used on set
And signed.
By Kelsey Grammer. And he's like, someone's going to get that. And I'm like, I fucking need that. And he was giving out gift cards and stuff too. I literally, every time he said dance, I would dance. I was like, I was a full dancing monkey. And I'm like, I don't care.
What I didn't realize truly till after is that because we're in the studio audience, we think that I didn't think they could see us on the floor for some reason.
I thought the lights were maybe too bright or something, but
the more I watch, the more I'm like, they're all looking at us. Like all the directors, all the crew, the cast, it was insane.
Yeah, Frasier was watching me dance and go crazy for a while.
Yeah.
It was, Kelsey.
He was like laughing at you and like.
Listen, long story short, by the end, he's like giving out prizes to people, and he gives me a fucking Chipotle gift card, and I go.
You try to give it back. You try to slide it back.
I try to slide it back. I'm like, I don't want to be up for this. I'm like, that if I got the Chipotle one, that means I'm not going to win the big one, right? And then finally he saves the big one to last. And he's like, okay. He's like, you had me at hello. And then he comes over to me and gives me the prop. I'm like,
it's like a board prop with it's with Kelsey Grammer's
signature
on it. I did order a display case for it. So it's coming in tomorrow. It's like a collectibles display case. I'm like, I need this thing pristine. And I can't wait till the episode comes out, and then we can like freeze frame and be like, "That's ours.
That's ours. We
got
own
that piece of thing.
Oh,
that came.
It was just I put my mind to it. And I'm like, I'm getting that.
The whole night seemed like I'm putting my mind to it, and it's going to happen because we watched the whole show. Which, by the way, I think the taping tip to tail was over 5.5 hours.
We parked at 4:45, and then it didn't all end until 10:30.
Yeah.
It was a long night, but it was fun.
Didn't feel. I mean, it felt a little long, but I wanted to watch it. Watching sitcom acting in a studio was crazy.
It's like watching a fucking masterclass. So like it was so cool and well done. So and I'm texting Jess being like, "Oh my god, we met him." I'm like, "I wish I asked for a picture or whatever." She's like, "Don't worry, like we'll get one after." And then after the show's done, she comes up and she's like, "Hey," she's like, "You guys can come backstage or something." I'm like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, she like on this set. She's like, "Yeah, just come on in." I'm like, again, very trusting. This is a pristine Frasier set, and we're slopping around like two bloodhounds. Yeah, just sniffing. I'm like, oh yeah,
inhaling all of Frasier.
So she takes us backstage, and then immediately there's like just a bunch of snacks there. She's like, "Yeah, start eating this. Who cares? Have a good time." And then she's like, "Do you want to have drinks in Kelsey's dressing room?"
And I literally, I thought she was joking at first. And I was like,
"Yeah,
what?"
I was like, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna go to Kelsey Grammer's dressing room and have drinks." And she was serious. And then we did it. We went there. He has this dressing room in a completely different area.
And it almost looks like a little apartment.
It's like a little apartment. It's got a little kitchen, and then they're repainting it, which is adorable because he's like, "I like my walls this color." It was like a gray Frasier color. We all know what that color is. It is a
grazier,
like a fancy gray. And then all this beautiful furniture in there. And it was packed full of people, including everyone who's ever worked on Frasier and created it.
It was just like these writers and directors, and I was just like, oh, and then I'm here a little bit stoned in my fucking Frasier hat.
And I'm like tired and hungry, but we're in this hallway, and I'm like, oh, these are all the executive producers of Frasier, the showrunners here. Because we're just like bouncing like, oh, remember this quote about the Sultan of Brunei? And they're like, oh, yeah.
I've never felt more in my element. Like, I have imposter syndrome a lot. And I was like, I shouldn't be here. But I was there shooting the shit with executive producers being like, this is exactly where I should be. Everything I've done in my life has led up to this moment. I'm making them laugh. I didn't feel nervous at all. I was just having a good time. I was drinking champagne. It was the best. You were
high and buzzed and I was completely sober and I was terrified.
But I wasn't. First of all, I wasn't that high or that buzzed.
Yeah,
I had
but
like
a little bit. That's the thing.
I'm also like, listen. This is why I love an interaction.
Yeah.
Because me talking to more people than you, I feel, prepares me for this kind of stuff.
Ooh, can I sidebar that? My makeup lady today on set, because I was also on television, she talked about, because I was like, I had a hair growing out of the tip of my nose once. It's disgusting. And she's like, can I tell you something? She's like, I just did Steven Spielberg's makeup the other day, and he had 5 long hairs growing out of the tip of his nose.
I feel like you're not allowed to say that.
I know, but she's like, because he's very conscious about his looks. And then she's like, I'm sorry to tell you that you got hairs growing out of the tip. And he was like mortified. He's like, no. He's like, get them now. And she immediately, she's like, so just a couple days ago, I plucked 5 nose hairs from the tip of his nose.
Are we allowed to say this?
Who's coming for us?
I don't know. Steven?
It just says that Steven cares about his looks, and that's great. I'm talking Steven like I know him. And B, it says that she's a fucking great makeup artist.
Okay.
Plucking nose hairs. But I'm like, what a feeling to... And I joked. I was like, what if you plucked it and just a stream of blood came squirting out? You're like, oh, can I just get that... And then Steven Spielberg just bleeding out from the little nose wound.
Oh, no.
That's what freaked me out about that story. I was just like, that's terrifying. That's a terrifying nose to pluck. It's a very rich nose.
I'd pluck that nose.
I'd suck on it.
Ew.
So that was... So that was a side note.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is have more interactions. Pluck Steven Spielberg's nose when you have a chance. And it was great. I met I was talking about my writing. For once, I love when people are like, "What are you working on? What's coming up?"
And
I'm
you
like,
got things.
I actually have some things for once in my life. This is nice. And then, oh my god. So we had to leave. I would have stayed there all night. I'm glad we had an out before I got weird.
We were casually talking to Kelsey Grammer at parts.
Yeah.
Of the party. You even went under his arm to go to the kitchen. It was very
because he was leaning up against the hallway, and I went nope, and I went under. Also, we literally showed him pictures. We're like, we dressed up as you and Niles for Halloween.
Like, ha, hilarious.
And then we showed the executive producers. We're like, we remade Frasier. They probably thought we were demented.
Maybe at first I thought it was because they thought the idea was funny, and then I'm like, I could show you, and I felt them all go, okay. Like, it was like funny just to hear about.
Yeah.
And then I had to search on my phone and I was like, check it out. And they're like, wow, that's actually good green screening. I was like, thank you.
No, they liked us. They were charmed by us. And then, by the end of the night, I'm like, we have to go and empty our dog. And I was like, Jess, do you think we can take a picture with Kelsey? She's like, yeah. So she asked him, and we were just standing there, and he's like, oh, of course. Yep. And he gets in between us. He rubs both of our backs. And normally, any other man just rubbing my back,
circular
I'd be disgusted. But I'm like, it was the most just like paternal sort of like...
Frasier's got us.
Yeah, Frasier's got you. Yeah. Everything's fine.
He was like it was so nice to meet you and all this. And he's like rubbing our backs. And we're like, oh my God.
And then we're like, okay, no, we need another one with a flash. We go back, rubbing our backs again.
Getting us jazzed up.
And then we said thank you. And then I looked at him. I kind of had my arms over. I'm like, can I hug you? And he's like, okay. And I hugged him so tight. For a little bit too long, I feel. Oh yeah, the very first time when I touched him, I'm like, "What is this, cashmere?" And he's like, "Yes."
Of course it is. It's Frasier.
Yeah. Hugged him so tight, and then he hugged you.
Yeah, I saw you guys hug, and then I crumpled up like a burnt spider, and I was just like I came at him like 2 rakes, and then we hugged, sweet hug, hard hug as well. It was very sweet, and absolutely one of the nights of my life.
Honestly, because I wasn't expecting it. I was like, I know we're going to a taping. I know it's going to be cool. Like, I know even if the new version kind of sucks, it's still cool. We went to see Frasier and we got to physically see Kelsey Grammer, right?
Now I understand why people go to concerts and then they get backstage passes and they're like, holy shit, I met the band. Like, I used to be like, I don't want to fucking hang out backstage. Who cares? Now that they've done it at this capacity, I'm like, I only want to go to a show with the anticipation of going backstage.
It was, and then just to have it blow my expectations out of the fucking water. Like the show was so much better than I could have ever imagined. He was nicer. Even that first meeting, even we just got a meeting and a picture. So that's when she's like, "Do you want to come back to the dressing room for a drink?" I was like I almost just like exploded, and it's
one of the biggest celebrities we could meet. For both
like
of us.
you fucking freaks who listen to our podcast know all we do is talk about Frasier. We're disgusting, we're demented, we're fresh heads.
Yep.
I said that.
Craniacs, if you may. You could say craniac.
Sure. What was I about to say right now? Anyway, we in the morning, like I woke up like smiling still, and I was like, I have never felt more powerful. I honestly feel also watching multicam, watching actors work like that. I'm like, this
multicam is sitcom, the sitcom that we just watched. Yeah,
multicam sitcom as opposed to single cam, like something with a live audience. I'm like, this is where I'm meant to be. Like I started in theater. I'm a comedian. This is exactly when I took like classes, multicam is where I excelled. I'm like, I need to be here. I'm like, I'm making a fucking vision board. We were talking about goals last week or the week before.
Big goals. This is all what I was going to say. It's all lining up.
It's all lining up. And this has really put some fire under my ass and like reignited something in myself that I'm like, I am going to make this happen. I'm going to fucking manifest a fucking manager. I'm going to manifest an agent. I'm going to manifest a fucking role on Frasier. I feel crazy, but I feel good.
Yeah.
And I feel right. We live in a post-seeing Frasier world.
Yeah, things are different now, and Matt and Julia got big goals, and I know what they are. Because samesies. It reignited
Samesies.
Reignited. Big wanting to do and knowing what I want. Feelings in me. Which we're also like both taking classes now. Whatnot.
Yeah, you just signed up for UCB 101. I just signed up for UCB 201.
Oh shit!
Today.
So you're gonna be the high school senior at UCB, and I'm gonna be the junior, and you're gonna pick on me and haze me.
I mean, we're on different days and in different locations, actually. But sure,
you can show up and haze me though. Just spray me with a fucking fire extinguisher.
Hey, whatever, nerd.
Yeah.
And then I'll like, when nobody's looking, I'll sneak you a kiss.
Yeah.
And people are like, kissing that nerd. I'm like, no, he's spitting in his mouth.
Yeah. I'll be like, yes, can I have another? Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, and I'll have another spit in the mouth.
Oh, no. Okay, let's end this because the edible just kicked in and I'm very high.
I can tell. You feel like you're kind of struggling over there.
It like kicked in like 5 minutes ago, and I'm like, oh my God, sometimes these are strong as hell.
Also, I feel like we're both just two children who gave a really bad presentation right there. Like, and then Frasier said this, and then he did that. So sorry if you're not into Frasier.
So, in summation, I like Frasier.
In conclusion, Frasier is nice, and I love him.
It's good to be famous, and I want to be on television. Literally,
that's what we did.
That's exactly what's happening.
Hey, thanks for listening, though.
Yeah, that's the story, and you can quote us on it.
Yeah, so we're going to be on Frasier. Putting it out there. I love you, Kelsey. Yeah, let's make it happen, man. Let's make a movie. Let's sell a script.
It's too much writing. We'll see. Thanks for listening, everybody. Find us online. You know where to find us.
Julia Comedy, Matt O'Brien. Is this what you want?
Should be, because you downloaded the podcast.
Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you want?